Welcome to 2025. I wanted my first video of 2025 to be my top 5 favorite games of 2024. I've been looking forward to it. And that's how it should be. The year ends and now we can talk about every single game that released. I'm not going to talk about every single game that released, but I'm going to talk about my favorite ones. I recorded gameplay for this video ahead of time, fortunately, because I am moving. You can see the setup is strange. All my stuff is packed. I have one box left with a couple of boxes to put in there. And that's it. I actually kept my microphone out to make this video, but I packed the cable to connect the microphone, so the sound isn't going to be very good either. I do apologize for that. But I'm excited for this video because in 2024, a whole bunch of absolutely amazing video games came out. Crazy surprises, a few games I've had been anticipating where I've been following the devs for a pretty long time. But in this video, my top 5 favorite video games of 2024. And some people might get mad. Let's go right into it. I've said it on my social media before, but I don't know if I said it in a video yet. But because I am moving, my videos are gonna be pretty lackluster for the next 2 to 3 months because I don't have any of my stuff. It's not gonna be easy to make videos and I don't want to stress about it. But I really wanted to make this video and I'm not gonna waste too much time. I just want to straight up instantly talk about these 5 games that personally touched me really deeply. There's some amazing video games on this list. On number 5, a video game that I've been waiting for a really long time, and I think a lot of us have, The Plucky Squire. The Plucky Squire released on Switch, and it is just an absolutely amazing video game. You play a boy who's the hero of a storybook. The storybook has a villain, he gets attacked, he attacks the book, and he learns to take things out of the storybook. So you're spending your gameplay from controlling the storybook, actually flipping the pages, tilting the book to solve puzzles inside the book. You're moving words around. For example, you're changing a box. There's a text will say there's a large box here, and then you find the word staircase somewhere. So you change the word box into staircase, and then the box in the book changes into a staircase. You control the book. This alone could have been the full game already. But it's not. The main gimmick of the game is that the villain is taking things out of the book into a 3D world. So what happens is you as the hero, you get this ability to come out of the storybook into a 3D world, and then you walk around in 3D. You have stealth missions, the way you attack, the way you all of a sudden have some 3D platforming elements in it. It's absolutely amazing. I love the gameplay of this. I love the story, I love the visuals. I really like how you're controlling the book, you're even observing the book from the outside in the 3D world. It is such a cool and immersive game. The main reason I put it on 5, and I tend to never really do this because I don't care, but I feel with the games I have on this list, I need to factor it in. I played it on Switch. I think it's just on Switch and on Steam. I'm not sure. But it had some performance issues, which normally I don't care about, but it was a lot, especially during the 3D segments where you're in the 3D world roaming around. It's like the frame rate goes from 30 to like a solid 5. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with that to the point where it bothered me. And this stuff never bothered me. I grew up with the NES. You know, slow motion and Mega Man, that's like cool slow motion stuff. I never really cared. But somehow in this game, it really bothered me. And it's probably because the game runs smooth in the 2D sections, but then when you get to the 3D sections, it doesn't flow as well. So I had to hold it against it. Not because it's really something that would deter me from buying the game, but because the other games on this list, they just don't have those same issues. Either way, The Plucky Squire is an absolutely amazing gameplay amalgamation. It is incredible. It has a lot of love and atmosphere in it. I like the 3D segments just as much as the 2D segments. There's a lot of humor in the game. I like the combat. It's a little bit simple, but you're really playing it really for the adventure. Number 5, Plucky Squire. On fourth place is a video game that I had eagerly been anticipating. I played the beta before it come out, and this is a game that not a lot of people will care about. Some people might even argue the term video game for it. But it is absolutely amazing, and I've spent quite some time just diving into the creation in Tiny Glade. Tiny Glade is an open sandbox where you're creating houses, you're creating castles, you're rearranging the nature around it. You can create lakes, mountains, forests, pathways, fences. The goal is that there is no goal. There's no time limits, there's no achievements, there's no actually goal in the game. You're just creating. You're comfortably creating. You're in full control of the time, of the elements. You can create a little homestead somewhere, a giant castle base. I've seen people create ridiculous villages in Tiny Glade, and I love it. I love just getting lost late at night, just building something. And what makes it so good is that it's not super complicated or intricate, because the gimmick about it is that everything is procedurally generated. You create a building, you add the windows. The way you're adding the windows decide how the windows are going to turn out. You can control the roof by moving things around. Once you start putting things together, they really fuse. It becomes one object. It's really hard to explain it, which is why I'm glad that I pre-recorded this gameplay to add to this video. That's what it is. What you're seeing is what it is. You're just losing time in creating just whatever you want, whenever you want. When you're moving trees around or grass, you're moving the cursor, the size of the cursor. The way you do things procedurally generates how it's done. You have a building and you're creating a pathway to it, and all of a sudden it automatically creates a door. That's how it goes. You're adding light to create atmosphere. You can move the camera around. You want a little tower, you just add a cylinder block to a house block and it becomes one thing. It is so well done. And it's like, you can't do anything wrong in the game. You're just trying things out. And randomly you're discovering that certain combinations of elements create different type of elements. And that's all it is. So absolutely, I love Tiny Glade. And there was no way it wasn't going to be on this top 5 list. People might be like, oh, this AAA game and that AAA game. But everybody plays games differently. Everybody loves different things. And I just boot up Tiny Glade and I get lost, almost as if I'm playing Animal Crossing. You just get lost in just creating, and the satisfaction of just being busy with it, really, more so than trying to obtain all these goals and fighting and stressing over achievements. You're just creating. Fourth place, Tiny Glade. This is where it's gonna get a little bit crazy. On third place, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. That's right, you heard it right. It's only on third place. I don't think I've ever not had a Zelda on first place in any top 5 when a new Zelda game came out. The crazy thing is, I've been wanting Echoes of Wisdom. I've been wanting a new game in the style of A Link's Awakening. I've been wanting a game with Zelda as a protagonist. And this game delivered. It is an absolutely amazing game. I love the art style. I love the humor of it. I love it that as you're traveling through Hyrule as Zelda, you hear all these stories about how Link has been a hero in these places where she doesn't know him yet. She just hears the tales of this hero. And I love it. It's cute. It's funny. I love the Zoras, like the sea Zoras and the river Zoras, living together in one world and being there. I'm so happy they brought them back. I like some of the dungeons are absolutely amazing. Some of the boss fights are really cool. So then why is it only on third place? Well, first of all, you're in top 3, okay? Top 3 is art. Number 1 and number 2 simply gave me a little bit more, but I did have some issues with the Zelda. I had some issues with the Zelda. And people can argue this point, but one of my biggest things that actually dropped it a lot for me, and I don't care what people say, is the map. When you superimpose the map of A Link to the Past to Echoes of Wisdom, you have the full map of A Link to the Past in there, and you just have an added outer edge around it. I was having fun in this game. I was walking around and all of a sudden everything started to look familiar. The castle, the towns, rock formations, the witch's house, the sanctuary, the graveyard, the desert. Everything looked the same, and all of a sudden it felt like I wasn't playing a new game anymore, but I was back in A Link to the Past. What makes it so bad is that A Link to the Past uses its map twice, because you have the Dark World. Then you have A Link Between Worlds, which uses the map twice, because you have Lorule. So you're basically playing the same map for the 5th time, and it just really bothered me. Some other stuff that I was kind of not happy with is the Link mode. I don't like that Link mode is in the game. The game doesn't need it. It's like a cop-out where the developers weren't sure, so they still give you an excuse to play as Link. Not only that, almost every boss fight was geared to you becoming Link and fighting the bosses, and I don't like that. I was hoping from Nintendo for more creativity in the boss fights, that you would stay Zelda, because you don't need Link. You unlock crazy ways to fight, and it's so much fun just summoning like several Octoroks, or like ghosts, or I like using the Darknuts, for example, or the Moblins. You can create armies, help these armies. They could have used this way more than just using Link as a cop-out. And honestly, that also really bothered me. And it plays into the final thing, where the final castle is absolutely... I was gonna say it's absolutely amazing, but it's technically not even a final castle. The final castle is just a mini puzzle where Zelda helps Link. They can't come in contact, but you're using your echoes to help him. And that's what I would have loved to see more of. A lot more of that. Really have Zelda use that wisdom. Now, it's an absolutely amazing game. I had so much fun with it. It is an incredible Zelda, and it's definitely up there among the best Zeldas. No doubt in my mind. I like the music, all the little Easter eggs that were in the game, everything they brought back, like Deku Scrubs and all that stuff. It is an absolutely amazing game, and it definitely deserves third place. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. On number 2, we have Euphoria, the Saga 2. Sunsoft resurrected from the ashes and they brought back some of their more rare games. Euphoria came back, Mystic Gimmick came back. Sunsoft is bringing back all their IP, and it's like it's an actual full-on resurrection, and they're designing new games. The studio resurrected, and they brought back one of my holy grail games, Euphoria, and they made a sequel to it, Euphoria 2, and it is absolutely amazing. I love this game. It is like upgraded Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, the platforming is not as crazy as Yoshi's Woolly World, but the game is just as beautiful. The characters look like little felt characters. You're in this world that is built with fabrics and all these things that are there, and it just looks so good. It looks so good, this game, and it is so much fun. When Euphoria came out in Europe exclusively, it was a slightly different version from Japan, so they changed some of the characters, like Hibareke, which is the penguin. That one is changed into Bob Louie, a snowman. So you're playing with the original Japanese character. You have Penguin, the cat girl, who's like a girl in a cat suit, who in the PAL version on the NES was a dragon. You have a ghost and a kappa, I guess, a frog. And they're hilarious. Each one of them has their own unique abilities. Throughout the game, you unlock new moves, new abilities. It's kind of a procedurally generated Metroidvania. That's what sets it apart from the first one, is that the levels are somewhat procedurally generated. They're mixed. When you go into an area, it doesn't always look exactly the same. So you have to adapt. You unlock new characters. Different characters have different abilities. For example, the frog can swim, and Bob Louie learns to climb walls. Whatever, I'm mixing the names. And the ghost can like hover to get to platformers further away. And the whole game just flows so well. I never felt like I was stuck anywhere. You're discovering all the standard areas, an ice area, a fire area, you got a cave system, and it's just funny. There's just dialogue in the game that's wicked funny, and it's like you're going on an adventure with all these guys. It looks incredible, it plays amazing. I really like the gameplay. I like the jump mechanic to jump on enemies. You can do cool combo systems with it. You have crazy cool boss fights, and you have incredible music. They're bringing back the music from the original game, and it just never stops being fun. You're watching, like some of the moves, the way the characters crawl over the ground, the way they do some of their moves, the conversations they're having with each other, where you're living in your little tree fort that like evolves over the game, and you're unlocking just new power-ups and abilities to get into all these new areas, and the goal is to combine the rockets to get to the final area. It really feels like an evolution of a NES game without trying to make it overly complicated, and it's just fun and it's hilarious, and it looks absolutely amazing, and it sounds amazing, and it absolutely deserves second place, because I love this game so much, and I can't stop praising how fun it is to play this game and just how incredible it looks. Euphoria the Saga 2 on number 2. And on number 1, a game that came out of nowhere. Now, I was hating on Ubisoft before people were even hating on EA, before everything like that became popular. I'm not a fan of Ubisoft, of the studio, of their practices, of a bunch of their games. But when I saw the trailer for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, on that Nintendo Direct several months back, in the beginning of the year I think, I was like, this looks amazing. This looks amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that up. Oh, it's only $25. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that up. And I just got blown away from the moment this game started, with the crazy action and maneuvers, the story that's being set up, the music used. The beginning of the game, you're in this combat zone, you're walking through it, you're in war with your fellow warrior friends, It's like a group of several people, and you're fighting this boss fight. It's kind of like an introduction to the game, and then you get thrown into the world of Prince of Persia, which is a Metroidvania game, and it is absolute art.
Sargon, listen to me.
Hassan is coming with me.
Step aside, Sargon. I'll deal with this.
Thank you, Varum. Varum?
Huh? Two of you. Let me guess. You found some of those feathers. My visions were true after all.
Whatever your visions were, I doubt you saw this coming. Step aside, Hassan. I'll deal with this. Varum the White Lion is not worthy to be an immortal, even less a king.
It is so good for so many reasons. In 2014, Dust: An Elysian Tale came out, which I've always said as the greatest combat any game I've ever seen, specifically Metroidvanias. In 2017, Hollow Knight came out, which has some of the greatest traversal of any Metroidvania that ever came out. And now we have Prince of Persia, which matches the combat of Dust and the traversal of Hollow Knight in one game with the absolute unparalleled beauty that I've ever seen in a Metroidvania. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is fucking gorgeous. This game is so beautiful. The way the whole world is designed, what sets it apart from every other Metroidvania ever made. And it's hard to explain this if you're not playing it, but in most Metroidvanias, you're playing on a 2D field. You have the ground and the background to kind of show what it looks like. Prince of Persia feels like you're playing in an entire 3D world. So when you go to one screen to another, you have like a building in the background that is always there. But you're traversing the halls of this building, the stairways of this building. It is so hard to explain this if you're not playing it. But every single screen of this game just looks unique because it is all connected. And it's not connected the way a Metroidvania game is normally connected, connecting one hallway to another. The entire world is like one city, and you're traversing from one building to another, to a stairway, into a hallway that is always connected to each other. Like everything just makes sense while you're walking through it. It's so hard to explain, but so you have that connected, but it's also the depth perception where it doesn't just look like you're walking on a 2D area. It looks like you're really walking in a giant room, and that just, those two elements alone set it apart from everything else. The way the game is designed vertically and the way the depth is designed and horizontally, just everything. The way the height works in the game, the way the higher up you go, the more you see of the background, the bigger the statues become. Like, it is just impossible really to put into words correctly how beautiful it is. And then it's not just that. You have the areas that just look amazing. Going through a forest with these ruins and the water. And it's like, the game doesn't just use the background, it uses the foreground. So you're walking in front of pillars, like you're really inside this building where there's trees growing around it. And you're going into these absolutely amazing crypts. And up on the skies, the rooftops of the city. You're going into probably one of the most beautiful areas ever created in a Metroidvania, the Raging Seas, where the idea behind the story of Prince of Persia is that time stands still. That everything that you're playing is a city that is trapped. Once you reach the edges of the city, you reach the sea. That is one of the levels, is the Raging Seas. And this entire sea has like a war going on, and there's lightning strikes, and there's jellyfish invading, and like tidal waves, but it's all frozen in time. So everything's standing still, but you can see the violence of the sea, the explosions that happen the moment time stopped. So you're walking through this entire level that is just frozen in time. So you're able to walk over the sea waves. It is fucking beautiful. It is beautiful. And it is not just the level designs. The music is absolutely incredible. Everything about this game. You have the soundtrack in some of the temple areas, in some of the hidden library areas and everything. It is incredible music. I love the character designs. I like the way the new prince looks, the way his friends looks. Everybody looks unique. The voice acting is really well done also in the game. And I haven't even talked about the best part yet, which I mentioned before, is the combat. The combat just instantly gelled with me. The way you can jump back, slide behind somebody, you can counter attack, you can hit somebody up in the air, follow him, do your combo, hit him away, follow him in the air, hit him further away, you can grab him, pull him towards you. The more moves you unlock in the game, double jump, dash attack, the sash attack where you can grab people, pull yourself towards somebody. It absolutely perfects the combat. It is the best combat I've ever played in any Metroidvania game. It flows so well between the counters and the moves. You can literally stay in the air almost indefinitely fighting enemies. And it is just so satisfying. It is so satisfying to do. The cool thing about the moves is it's a Metroidvania. So you're like, okay, you're gonna have there's a bombable wall. Okay, I'll just wait till I get the bomb ability, whatever it is. But it's like, you're not getting a bomb ability. That's what's so good. All the moves are so unique. You're like, I think I'm getting a bomb ability, but you don't. You get a dimensional slash, which allows you to trap any enemy in the game and then have him fight for you later on whenever you want. You can trap him, you can trap items. So the idea is that you trap an explosive enemy to break away the wall. And that's just so unique, and a lot of the moves in the game work like that, where you're thinking, okay, I'm clearly getting this ability, you know, but it's like, you're not getting that ability, and you're getting something that allows you to complete the purpose, but it's not what you think it is. So I like the uniqueness of all the abilities, and that's just it. The whole game just flows so well between the traversal, the combos, the moves at the fighting, you know, the way the levels are designed, the incredible level design. And you got some of the greatest puzzles I've ever seen in a video game. Because time is something that the game uses. I love it when games use time. And Prince of Persia has used time before in previous installments. So I like it that they not only brought that back, but perfected it. You have a puzzle where, like in a moment in the game, you're going to have several puzzles. And the puzzles require you to play different timelines that get merged together. So you're walking around pulling a switch that somewhere else open a door. And you keep walking and you step on a pedal that opens up a door somewhere else. And then you play the second character. And because the first character in the timeline opened the door, you can walk through that door and activate another switch for the third. It is crazy to explain. You can't even explain it properly. The puzzles are just absolutely brilliant. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown just never stopped impressing me. I like the story. It kept flowing. I never felt like I was trapped. The whole game from beginning to end just never let me go. The story just kept progressing on and on. I never really felt like I was stuck in the game when it came to exploration or finding new areas. You know, you unlock fast travel, several different means of fast travel. The traversal abilities you unlock make everything go faster. You become stronger through the game. You can equip amulets and all this stuff to upgrade your abilities. And you're just always becoming more and more powerful, and you feel it. Now there's some tough boss battles in the game. There's this crazy tree lady with the wolf that was like one of the worst. There is another boss fight where you're fighting somebody with a bow, which was nuts. And then you got one of the main boss fights later on against one of the main antagonists that just was absolutely killing me until I equipped better special attacks. You have a bunch of special attacks, but you can only equip 2. So you really have to look at what you have, your amulets, your special attack, and use them for whatever occasion is best. But the stuff the game does when it comes to time, with areas being frozen in time, characters meeting themselves because the timelines are overlapping, not just in the puzzles, but also in the story. That's just the stuff I love. And you combine that with the most perfect combat I've ever seen in a video game. With that soundtrack, the story just keeps getting better and better. You're wrapped in this mystery of Persia with the royal lineage and everything. It never stopped getting better. Absolutely, my game of the year, number 1, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. There you have it, my top 5 games. Probably different than most people you will see online. There's a lot of indie games in there. I just love indie games, especially if you have been waiting for it for a while. You know, The Plucky Squire, Tiny Glade, and we have Zelda, Euphoria, My Heart, and finally Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Each and every one of these games just absolutely captivated me this year. I got lost in these worlds, in the humor of Euphoria, the intense adrenaline of Prince of Persia, the whimsical chase for Link in Zelda, just building my own homesteads in Tiny Glade, and the wishy-washy 2D, 3D gimmick of Plucky Squire, this amazing adventure of this little guy. Just absolutely amazing games. Hope you enjoyed this video. I tried still doing it the best I could with what I have left here. Sorry if the sound is off. I tried to record gameplay early on, so not a lot of the gameplay is like late gameplay. But, you know, you shouldn't show everything in a video anyway, for anybody who might still want to play any of these games. Thank you all for watching. I hope you stay with me while I'm getting settled into my new life. You know, I have to move everything from one place to another. It's a bit further away than you might think. I'll have a proper video up once I'm completely moved and my channel gets going again. I can't wait to make more videos in 2025. Hope you all have an amazing new year, and thank you for watching.